All right, y'all, let's get to the main course. Amber and Anthony. Now, when I told y'all earlier the fact that she came out in that nice little silk robe, Amber, you can fool everybody else, but you can't fool everybody on my channel in particular. We know better. We know that you were trying to do this because you are being petty. You want your husband back. We know this. Because you would have came out, when he came to the door, you'd have had your bonnet on, you'd have had your regular pajamas on, and you'd have been sitting there and enjoyed the dinner. And then, you wouldn't even let him nowhere near you. You wouldn't even have been trying to dress up for him. You wouldn't have had no makeup on, none of that, if you didn't want your husband back. See, that's the thing about us over here. We dissect things over here, which is why I love my community. Because we don't just look at these skits, we dissect these skits. So, Amber, even though you tried to say you didn't like that dinner, come on now. You know you did. And you love when he came behind you and started kissing on your neck. But the way you grabbed his neck, that was a come to Jesus moment. That was the Holy Spirit saying, don't you do it. Girl, don't you do it. Because you going to do it. Which shows growth. Which shows change. And I'm proud of you for that. You stuck to your guns and you stood on business and you let him know that no matter what, there was going to be a divorce. But what you didn't ask him was why he ain't signed the papers. And what you should have did was pulled out them papers, said, here, I need you to sign this. That's how he going to know you serious. He not going to think you serious until, number one, you stop seeing that therapist. And number two, you go ahead and get you a court proceedings and let the mentor, or whoever it's going to be, as far as the mediator, say, look, this is the person y'all need to see. But you ain't going to do that. So now, back to PRing. PRing, you and Anthony going to end up getting together. That's who I think he going to end up with. Because when this is over and done with, regardless of how this play out, Amber's not going to want Anthony back, especially if Shayla comes after her. Especially if Shayla comes trying to mess with her. Because Shayla is going to find out that he's going over there. She going to follow him. She going to follow him right on over there. And she going to see him over there talking to Amber. She going to see them, no. Amber, I need you to go ahead on and move on with whoever you choose to move on with. The only way this gonna stop is even if you ain't dating. The only thing that's gonna stop a man is another man. And let me explain why I say that. Because when you by yourself, they gonna wait until you vulnerable. Versus you having somebody that even though y'all ain't together just as of yet, that don't mean y'all can't go out on lunchings. That don't mean you can't go out. Just keep it platonic. What she need to do is one day, when he come over there one day, have Calvin come walk right on out the door. As a matter of fact, that's what you do. Because that's when he realized it really is over between them two. But Anthony, your problem is that counseling session, yes, it did get to you. But at the same time, what you getting from Shayla is justified because you keep playing with her. Why are you making it seem like that girl's stupid? She ain't dumb. She ain't dumb. She ain't stupid. She knows better. But she ain't put two and two together and figured out that you're trying to get your wife back. She ain't figured out the fact of them counseling sessions. You told her that was about you trying to go through your divorce. But see, it's backfiring on you, ain't you? Because of that counselor. That counselor really is doing her job. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do. You have to look at the whole entire relationship, not just their marriage. You have to look at everything that happened before the marriage before you get to everything that happened in the marriage. It all starts from the very beginning. So she's doing the right thing. But Amber need to go in there without Anthony and have a session and tell her about Shayla. Because that way she has the whole entire story. Then she can get into Shayla. She don't know nothing about Shayla because Anthony ain't told her everything. But then again, Amber don't know everything. Amber, what you need to be doing is trying to figure out when all of this started, figuring about the apartment, trying to get all your evidence together so you can go ahead through with this divorce. We want the divorce over here. We don't want y'all back together. We want y'all away from each other. We want you to move on. Even if it's with Kelvin. Because what I really would like to see is Dalen and his sister and Amber and Kelvin together. Because I just think that would be just a cute situation. And if Lawrence and Erica wasn't going through what they were going through, then this would have been all the way cute, all the way around. But I'm going to get to them in a second. But you sat there and let that girl punk you saying you won't go nowhere. What you should have did was grabbed your child and said, I'm leaving. And I ain't bringing them back till you get yourself together. Until you calm down. Because if you're going to act like this, then I might as well go ahead on and take him. That's what you should have did. Because that way you could have proved that she was unfit. But then again, this is how I write. So you sitting there the whole day miserable, scared to death, when you could just say, you know what, Shayla, this is over with. We'll go to court. We'll settle child support. And that's it. Or take yourself down there yourself and just do child support. Oh, but I forgot. You're not on the birth certificate. So they're going to have to do a DNA test. Now, this may be. So for those of y'all that been saying that he might not be the father, this might be the time where this might happen. So I'm not saying in any capacity that things can switch because, it switches all the time. But for now, they're not going to do that. But they could. Why? Because if he tries to get custody of the baby, they got to do a DNA test. Now, if it comes out that he's not the father, even still, that still is in my brain. So let me break down how I work. I let the situation play out. That's what I do. And as the situation progresses, my mind can always change. I can change perceptions all the time. But I'm only going off right now what's going on in the moment. As these skits progress, if they go to court, then they do a DNA test and it comes out he's not the father, cool. But for now, they're not going that direction. But I'm not saying they never won't go down that direction. I've never said they won't eventually go down that road. They're just not going to right now. And then again, they may not at all. But that's how life works. Everything is unpredictable. So you never know what may or may not happen no matter what. You don't. So it could change. And if it does, and it turns out that he's not a father, hey, cool. But it ain't going to be because of how y'all expect it to be, but when it least expected. So I'm never going to say that's not possible. But I'm just saying for now they're not going to do that. Not saying later on down the line that they won't. But that's how it is as a life coach. As we go through sessions, even in therapy, you started from the very beginning of childhood, from when you can remember everything going wrong. So it's stages. But as for Erica and Lawrence, you ain't no better than Anthony is. Instead of telling Erica the truth, that girl drugged you. Erica could have took you to the emergency room, proved that you got drugged. When she came and said she was pregnant, you and Erica could have pretended like y'all whatever, and Erica could have been there, had the whole time having her recorded. And she would have never known that Erica was there. But all you got to do is tell her versus keeping it from her. I keep trying to figure out, do I want to put my hair back or do I want to leave it down? I don't know. But Lawrence, your friends are trying to help you. Everybody's trying to help you get out of this situation. But dude, you so worried about the financial part of it, but you don't worry about the fact that how she's messing up every other part of your life. Bro, you could have went and got an LLC and started over. You could have, behind her back, started, let Erica help you bring new people in, but just don't send them to Nina. Make it seem like you still need Nina until you got the funding that you needed, and then said, you know what, your service is no longer needed, and switched everything over. So that way, if anything would have happened, it wouldn't touch you. That's all you had to do. But you didn't listen to your friends. You didn't listen to Erica. You didn't listen to nobody. And this is why you are where you are. And when it come out that girl is lying to you, then what you gonna do? You gonna be trying to get Erica back, and Erica ain't gonna want no parts of it. And honestly, I don't blame her.